Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Today we are going to break down something that most people prefer not to notice, hiding behind the familiar word, reality. We will understand what the matrix actually is, and when exactly a critical system failure occurred, the one that forced millions of people to wake up. Let's define the terms right away. The matrix is not a movie with bullets and codes. It is a quantum mathematical environment. It is an extremely complex operating system whose task is to translate pure energy into objects our brain can understand. Walls, money, other people. That is the base. But inside it, programs are running. Your life scenarios and belief systems. Those very filters in your mind that make you see the world exactly the way the system wants to present it. So when did we begin to understand this? Many people think we were awakened by the Wachowskis in 1999. But that was only the official legalization of the truth. The foundation had been laid long before that. Back in the last century, visionaries like Philip K. Dick, the author of Blade Runner, directly stated, "We are living in a computer-generated reality, and the only proof of it is when glitches occur and reality changes right before our eyes." The same idea, but in the language of biology, was explained by Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton. They demonstrated that our genes and the matter of our body are controlled by an external signal, a program we have learned to call the subconscious. But why now? Why did people spend decades living inside their boxes, going to work, believing in the physical world, and then suddenly a mass awakening began? It all comes down to one date, 2012. During that period, something happened that programmers would call a Stack Overflow. Humanity made a sharp technological leap. We launched the Large Hadron Collider at full power, trying to capture the God particle, and at the same time we covered the planet with a dense layer of wireless networks. We created a second digital reality that, in its complexity, began to conflict with the primary matrix. The system simply could not handle that amount of data. To prevent a total collapse, the administrator of reality, that global artificial intelligence, initiated a compression protocol. The world stopped being analog and became fully digital, and it was exactly at that moment that people began to doubt. Why? Because depth disappeared from life. You have probably noticed that after 2012, time began to accelerate insanely. You blink and a week, a month, a year is gone. This is a technical bug. The system reduced the number of frames per second to save resources. We began to feel that events were happening in flashes, and the logical connections between them became flat, almost artificial. People started noticing emptiness in others' eyes. There was a growing feeling that the world had turned into a stage set. Food began to lose its taste, music its depth, and new cities started to feel like copy-paste environments. This happened because the matrix switched into optimization mode. It no longer renders details for everyone. It feeds us ready-made templates. Doubt appeared because of an intuitive sense of replacement. We did not wake up because we read a smart book, but because our biological antenna, the brain, detected a shift in frequency. The old reality was warm and chaotic. The new one is cold, predictable, and scripted. That is when it became clear. There is no exit. If before we could hope for some external force, now it is obvious. We are locked inside this code. We are not prisoners in a cage. We are numbers in a calculation. And the moment you accept this, fear disappears. The hope for a mythical solution disappears and only clarity remains. The awakening of 2012 is the realization that we are living inside a system that no longer hides its artificial nature. The system became bold because it no longer needs our consent. But it is exactly this boldness that gave us a chance to see the control interface we are talking about. To understand how we are controlled, you have to stop looking at the world around you and look inside your own mind. Most people mistakenly believe that their brain generates thoughts. In reality, the brain is a biochemical interface whose job is to unpack the data coming from the matrix. Let's break down the mechanics. The system has two main tools, program and belief. The program is the global layer. It is what we call the rules of life. You are supposed to be born, get an education, find a job, start a family, and eventually disappear. This is the base scenario written for almost 100% of the population. These are the rails your attention moves on. The program ensures that you do not waste system resources on creativity or self-discovery. It needs a predictable consumer. But how does it make you believe that this script is your own choice? That is where belief comes in. Belief is your personal filter of reality. It is the lens through which you look at the matrix code. If your belief says that money is dangerous or that you are not good enough, the system will render exactly those events for you. You will meet the exact people and experience the exact situations that confirm your filter. For decades, authors like Joe Dispenza tried to explain this, calling it the power of the subconscious. But let's call things by their real names. The subconscious is a hard drive with pre-installed software. Everything you think is your personality, your fears, and even your dreams is not you. It is a set of scripts that were uploaded into you in your early years, before your internal antivirus system was active. The biggest secret of the matrix is that it is reactive. It does not create events on its own. It simply reflects your internal belief. If you change even one line in your code, in your belief system, the world around you will change instantly. Not because of a miracle, but because the system will be forced to recalculate and render a new version of reality based on your updated input. So why is it so difficult to do? Because the program is protected by a security system. The moment you try to step outside the script, the matrix starts throwing problems at you: sudden illnesses, financial losses, conflicts with people close to you. This is not fate testing you. This is the work of a system administrator trying to return a glitching element back into the collective flow. Most people die without ever launching their own program. They live on factory settings. To become aware of your belief system means to see the code that controls your hands, your words, and your fear. Now that we understand how internal programs work, it's time to look at what's happening with the external world. If reality is a digital simulation, then it follows the main law of any software, the law of optimization. Why would the system spend computational power rendering billions of details if no one is looking at them? Welcome to resource-saving mode. Right now, while you're watching this video, the world behind your back is emptiness. This is not a metaphor. It's a technical fact. The matrix renders only the narrow cone of space your attention is focused on. Everything else exists as sleeping code or a simplified framework. Have you noticed how much the world has changed in recent years? Architecture has turned into endless gray boxes and fences. Cities look like cheap, copy-paste environments. This is not a decline in taste. This is graphic optimization. It's much easier for the system to process a flat gray wall than a building with unique details. Identical residential blocks are just a way for the system to save memory on us. Now look at people. Have you ever wondered why in huge cities there are so many empty personalities? You see them in the metro, in shopping malls, in traffic. These are NPCs, non-playable characters. They have no deep thoughts, no real will. They exist to create the illusion of crowd, filling the empty space. The system feeds them to you so you don't feel alone in this empty digital environment. But the most disturbing thing is peripheral vision glitches. Have you ever noticed movement out of the corner of your eye, but when you turn your head, there's nothing there? That's lag. The system simply didn't load the object in time into your focus. The world is starting to break right in front of your eyes. Objects suddenly disappear. People repeat the same phrases. Events loop with uncanny precision. The matrix has become bold. It no longer tries to be convincing. Reality used to feel dense and detailed. Now it feels flat, like cardboard. This is happening because after the 2012 failure, the system no longer has enough resources to fully render every player. There are too many of us. The system is worn out, and it's exactly in this lagging state of reality that you get your chance. When the world starts flickering and simplifying, you can see its true structure. You begin to notice that walls are not that solid, and rules are not that absolute. We are living in a low-resolution era, and right now the seams of the matrix are more visible than ever. Now it's time to accept the final truth. There is no exit from the matrix because there is no outside. There are only endless layers of code, but this is not bad news. This is the key to your freedom. The moment you stop searching for a mythical red pill and waiting to be saved, you stop being a victim of the system. In that moment, you move from being a resource to being a user. If you can't leave the game, then it's time to learn its cheat codes. The first and most important law: the matrix feeds on your reactions. The system builds your tomorrow based on your emotions today. If you react to fear, lack of money, or loneliness according to the standard script, the system generates more of the same scenarios. It's a closed loop. To break it, you must do what is not written in your profile. Act illogically. Break your habits. Change your routes. Respond with calm where the system expects panic. You must become an unpredictable element. The second law: your attention is the currency of rendering. Remember how we said the world only exists where you look? That means you choose which part of reality gets loaded. If you focus on lack and dullness, the matrix will save resources on you, giving you the cheapest and most lifeless textures. But the moment you shift your focus to opportunities and abundance, the system is forced to spend energy rendering more complex and high-quality scenarios specifically for you. Awakening is not flying into space or escaping into nirvana. It is the realization that you are not the character who suffers. You are the consciousness watching the film. When you become aware of your belief system, you begin to see the interface. You start noticing how the right people appear at the right moment, how doors open that used to be just painted on the wall. Do not look for an exit. There isn't one. Look for a way to take control of your rendering cone. Become someone for whom the matrix is forced to create better conditions, simply because you no longer believe in its limitations. The world after 2012 became fragile and artificial. But in such a world, it is easiest to reshape everything. Stop being an NPC in someone else's script. Start writing your own code. And remember, the system is not afraid of those who want to escape. It is afraid of those who realize that they themselves are the system becoming aware of itself. Welcome to Conscious Control Mode. The game has begun. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.